shed some light on today's show, stay tuned as we install recessed track and pendant lighting fixtures. Say that 3 times. Hey, they forgot the last step here.
We'll fix that later.
Hey, David, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, I'm Ed Feldman.
And I'm Joe Lorario.
And this is our contractor pal, David Bichet.
David, you got a lot of work going on
We
here.
certainly do, certainly do.
7 months of renovation at this beautiful Tudor home.
Wait, there's more than Tudors. There's at least 20 or 30 doors.
Whoa! In Chestnut Hill, PA, built around 1908. Lots going on here, but today's show is about
Lighting.
Now, there are 3 kinds of lighting. Ambient, or general. There's task, for a specific task, and...
Accent, which is sprinkle light on the bowl.
Or a deviled egg.
Yeah, but we'll elaborate about that more later.
But we're talking about the specific hardware with you, David. What kind?
Recessed lights, track lights, and pendant fixtures.
Which is the kind you wear around your chest here.
Let's go inside.
Let's go see. There you go.
Today, we will be installing a recessed light to provide general or ambient light to the alcove between 2 rooms. The purpose of ambient lighting is to provide safe, comfortable movement around a room, or in this case, from one room to another. We will also install track lighting, which will serve 2 purposes. One, like our recessed light, is to provide ambient lighting in the great room. But the second purpose of the track lighting is to provide accent lighting for artwork that will eventually adorn the walls. Because the individual lamps on the track can be aimed to specific works, track lighting is perfect for this. But at the top of the show, we said we would talk about 3 types of lighting, and the last, which we will also install, is task lighting. Task lighting is lighting that illuminates a particular work area, a kitchen island or counter, a bathroom vanity, a dining room table. Pendant lights are perfect for this purpose. They not only direct light over a given area, but are so attractive they create interest in and of themselves.
David, when do you consider lighting?
When it's dark.
No, really.
At the beginning of the project, you'd want to make your design decisions.
And would we always use a licensed electrician?
Depending on the requirements of your local community, you ought to use a certified electrician.
When doing a total renovation like this, you should consider your lighting decisions, specific needs and uses, and where to place fixtures after completing your floor plan before any physical work is done. You can decide on specific fixtures later. This will save time and money down the road. Does it matter if you're using new wiring or the existing wiring?
Well, depending on the locations you've selected, you might use new wiring for the new locations.
Right, always. And what about specifically this house?
Specifically, this house, we wired about 85-90% of it.
Wow.
So you're always going to check the wiring, and of course, always new wiring for
Up
new
to code,
stuff.
yes.
I could just do a toaster plug.
When rewiring a house, always use a licensed electrician. If you're simply replacing a fixture, you can do that yourself if you choose. Regardless, the process of installing the specific fixtures is the same. Now, the people here have hired a lighting designer because they have a large budget. And here he comes now, Lee Waldron.
Hey, Lee, how you doing?
How you doing?
A lot of handshaking going on in this.
Now, there are a lot of spaces in this house. How did you determine which lighting to use where?
Well, it's a complex space, so we sat down with the owner and went through each space, how they were going to use the space, decided where we were going to use recessed downlights for general ambient lighting, where we were going to use pendant, say in the kitchen for a task light over the counter, and then track lighting and some other specialty fixtures like that.
But first, we're going to be looking at recess, right?
Wait, I didn't hear any bell.
Well, that's okay.
But they got the milk and cookies.
And cheese crackers.
Ah.
Time for recess.
Where's the potatoes?
These are recessed lighting fixtures.
And you can see there's 2 sizes, the smaller one, and this is the larger size, which is what we're going to use.
And why is it recessed? Because the can and all the guts,
There's some of them.
some of the screws go up inside a wall or most often a ceiling. And that's what we're going to use as ambient light in this alcove.
He was a great sax man.
That's Al Cohn, 4 brothers.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is going to be ambient light, as we said, because this is the hallway between one room and the kitchen.
And you couldn't put a pendant lighting in here because if you did, you'd bang your head unless you were really short like Billy Barty. Time for spotting the hole. I spotted it. It's right up here.
It's right there. Since we're going to center this in the ceiling, we've measured lengthwise.
And widthwise.
And then half that and made a little dot right in the middle, and that's the hole for the center of the ceiling.
Inside every recessed light, you're going to find a template like this.
It's got the instructions on it, and this template itself is also just a tiny little bit bigger than the recessed light itself. So after you cut through that center hole,
You put this right on there.
and you trace around it, you cut that, and we know that it will then fit.
This is my very special saw. It's my keyhole drywall saw that I will cut the hole with.
always wear the protective goggles because if gypsum gets in your eyes, it's worse than smoke. Now you gotta go up here and you fish around for the Romex, which is why it's called, because it roams around.
Yeah, it's non-metallic cable, and it's going all the way to the outside box. And now it's time to wire the fixture.
This goes in like this, right?
No.
No.
Cut! Stand
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Bill Mullen is a licensed electrician, yay, so he'll demonstrate how to wire the recessed fixture. First, strip about 6 inches of insulation off the Romex cable, which contains all 3 wires, the ground, hot, and neutral wires. Pull the cable through the junction box, attach to the fixture, and secure it. Strip a ½ inch of insulation off the neutral and hot heads. The neutral wires are always white, hot or black, and ground wires are green or exposed copper. Attach the wires from the fixture to the Romex, hot to hot, neutral to neutral, and ground to ground, and secure with wire nuts. Neatly place all wires back into the junction box and secure the cover plate.
What's that?
This is a thinking cap.
Hey, here's a celebrity safety tip. When doing work like this, take off rings, watches, and anything that can conduct and make your hair look like Billy Preston's.
I took out the metal plate in my head. That conducts.
Now, what keeps the can from falling down on your head out of the ceiling?
Woohoo! These little clips. See?
Oh, look!
That's a clip, and it goes into the light, into this little cutout here. We'll put this clip in like this.
It works so much better when your hands are made of glass.
And you turn it around, and so it's adjustable.
And it locks down, and then we take one of these machine screws and screw it in from the side there, and that adheres it perfectly, and then it will be secure. Get your head out of your can. Now you
Hold that up, Chief.
put the slots in. If they're locked down right, it won't move while we put the screws in.
There we are. This is not Plan 9 from outer space. This is the white step baffle trim. Okay, it's got a little piece that fits into this ring, and it's attached by these spring clips. And they're going to attach into the slot in the recess. So we put this up here. We take the spring, stretch it to the slot, move around, take the other spring, stretch it to that slot, and it's in. Ta-da!
What's this?
Now it's time to screw in the incandescent flood.
Ready?
Ready.
Now, everybody out there who believe in us, think real hard, and the light will...
Beautiful.
I'm surprised. Next, tracks.
Of my tears.
Caprio's Cafe favorite.
That hill for our lighting
We
extravaganza.
finished with the recess lighting. Now we're going to do a different type of lighting.
Recess is over.
And we got Lee with us again.
And we're going to ask you right now, this is a great room. What do they call it?
The great room.
And what kind of lights have they chosen for this room?
Well, here we have track light. We're going to mount it against the beams, try and conceal it so that we can use it to light down into the space and also against the walls for artwork.
Okay, so you have some beautiful vaulted beams here. What do they look like,
Looks
Joseph?
like yellow pine to me, and they've been wire brushed and scorched. They're very beautifully done.
And of course, track lighting is never really a decorative looking casing. It's always rather unobtrusive because it's illuminating other things.
That's right. They're small and hold the lamp real tight against the beam. So you really don't see it.
So let's get to doing that, because I'm tired of looking at the back of your head here.
Way up with a track.
This is a big track. Look at this, track lighting.
And the good thing about this track is, after it's wired at one end, the entire thing becomes a conductor.
You know my uncle was a conductor?
Really, Baltimore and Ohio?
No, electrical. He got hit by lightning.
Actually, there are contact points all inside the track here, and all you have to do is slide the lights in there, automatically connected.
Amazing.
And where are we going to put it?
Well, this is going to go up against this beam. Here's our wire. See this here?
There's a big, Burroughs got them this big.
The big track, yeah. Look at this. You knock out this little plate in
Hey,
here.
but wait a minute.
That's right. We couldn't go any further because we're not professionals.
Electrical technician.
Where is Bill when you need him?
Bill?
Oh, Bill.
With track lighting, you just screw the ends of the Romex cable to the terminals inside the track. The green terminal is for the ground wire. The silver terminal is for the white or neutral wire, and the brass terminal is for the black or hot wire.
I'm going to put this, screw this in with some
Inch and a quarter screws.
Oh, beautiful.
Perfect.
Here's a cutaway of a piece of track lighting, and you can see the copper contact points in here are the conductors. And on the end of the track light, which is the light itself, on the end you have two contact pins right here, which feed off of those conductors and cause light. Just fit in right like this. It pivots, and there you have your connection.
Fixture, halogen bulb, 50 watts. With this ring, IV wed. Screw it in there. Spring-loaded, that lever that pivots the contact points. Pull it up like so. Stick it in there in the track. Drop the lever down. Contact is made. Et viola. Regardless of the purpose or type of fixture you choose, here are some helpful tips. Are you ready? Avoid creating shadows in the bathroom or kitchen. How? Don't put your fixtures on top of cabinets or a vanity mirror, but all over the area that is to be illuminated. Silly. And consider your surfaces. Light is either reflected or absorbed by the surface materials. If you have dark cabinets or matte finish counters, your needs will be very different than if your kitchen is all white. Lee, how do you know where to put all the lights? And I understand there's a big word involved here.
That's what I've been thinking about.
Well, this is a large room, and so we use a term called photometrics.
You need a large word for a large room.
That's
What
right.
am that word?
Well, photometrics is very simply taking finding out how much light you're going to get, say, lighting the wall or down in the seating area, measuring the distance and how large the beam's going to be.
And if you do that, and people like you can make that determination, you know exactly what kind of light you need.
I hear he's got a slide rule.
Well, the track lighting is in, and also the recess lighting.
And we're going to be getting to the pendant lighting, but first lunch.
Did you bring us something?
I think so.
Is it enough for both of us?
I think so. Lighting. Sammy Davis Jr., peace, love, and togetherness, man.
But my sainted Bubba always told me that your fixture's only as good as your bulb, so we've come here to look at bulbs, and we're at Lee's studio.
Studio and the marketplace.
Which is a design center, a big building filled with designer showrooms that decorators and designers shop at in Philadelphia, which is where we hang around a lot.
And we're going to be taking a tour of bulbs.
Bulbs and fixtures and lights and everything, and Sherry, the manager, is going to show us all around, and I hope she hasn't left because we've been out here a long time.
Let's go talk about gas. Halogen gas.
Is it fun to work here?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Did you ever lose the lights? And how many candles do you need when the lights go out?
A lot.
It brightens your life, though, right?
Every day.
And there's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fabulous designer lamps in here. And what are we going to talk about?
We're not talking about bulbs.
Not the lamps. We're talking about bulbs.
Although these are called lamps, right?
Correct.
We're dealing in the mundane before we go to the fanciful.
So let's talk about some bulbs or lamps.
Here are the bulbs that most people.
Well, this is the most common, I think,
This is
right?
the Uncle Fester.
Right. Exactly.
He can light it. He really
I can,
can.
but I just don't want to do it now.
And these are incandescent.
Correct. These are your regular household lamps. People use these in their lamps at their nightstands. People use these type of lamps in their chandeliers. The incandescent pieces, they usually have a soft tone, a yellow. It's very warm. It's very comforting.
Now we come to halogen bulbs.
Yes.
Right, which is a lot like looking directly into the sun.
Correct.
Now how do they work?
How do they work? Well, halogen lights, these are a variety of different types, some of them use transformers and some do not.
That's like a thermometer.
Correct.
I got one of those in my pole lamp, right?
Right, exactly, like a pushier. And what the advantage of this bulb is, it gives a nice pure white light. The wattage, if this says 200 watts, it's actually equivalent to 600 watts of an incandescent lamp. So you get more brighter, clearer, whiter light.
Why do they call these halogen? And why halogen?
Because in this lamp, there is halogen gas in here, and that's what produces the heat as well as the white light. These are the newer fluorescents. They're called compact fluorescents because they are smaller. These actually, you can get a brighter, whiter light, or actually, excuse me, a softer light, but it uses less energy than any of the lamps that I've shown you. And it's great for commercial spaces.
Now, what's the cost difference on these lights? I mean, you said incandescent was the cheapest.
Yes, it is the cheapest, and the halogen and the fluorescent are a little bit more in money, but the hours, they last much longer.
So what kind of bulbs do you recommend?
For track lighting, there are a variety of types, but this pod lamp that you have here is a reflector, and this is very good for track lighting.
Because it directs the light.
Correct. You have a lot more control, because not only can you move the actual light fixture on the track, you could actually have more control with the light fixture.
Okay.
What about the recessed lighting?
The recessed lighting, you can do a variety of things. If you don't want a lot of heat, an incandescent lamp you can use for recessed, or a lot of recessed lights now have halogens. For similar reasons to lighting up a store, you can light up a kitchen with it. And
Often, but you'd put, would you glaze over the front
you
of
could
that?
put a reflector on top of it, yes, to reduce the glare from
And how
it.
about the pendant lighting, I would assume?
Pendant lighting, you can use
Also.
this type of bulb, the MR16, or what they call is a 50-watt bi-pin, which is the actual halogen bulb itself that's inside of this. Without the
So
reflector.
it's a little tiny bulb.
It's a tiny bulb.
Smaller than
and
this.
Much smaller. And what happens that way is if you have glass on top of here, the light goes throughout the whole glass and gives a nice glow.
I use a lot of dimmers in my house, Sherry. The harder to see the dust bunnies or
And the clutter.
or the deep
Yeah.
crags in my aged face. Can you put dimmers on any of these lights, lamps? Lamps, right?
Yes, lamps. Yes, you can. There are actually two different types of dimmers, a line voltage dimmer and a low voltage dimmer.
Line voltage,
Line voltage you can use
Low.
and
low voltage.
A line voltage dimmer you can use for any lamp in the home. A low voltage dimmer you need for the pendants that you're installing. They're low voltage, so if you would like to dim those, you need a low voltage dimmer because of the transformer.
There's going to be a test at the end of the show.
Right, and you could do, the average person, or the kind of superior person that watches us could do this.
Yes, it's just simply taking the switch plate off the wall and putting a dimmer plate and the dimmer connections in that area.
You don't have to call an electrician. Sherry, thanks a lot.
Thank you. You've got a beautiful showroom with thousands and millions of dollars worth of designer-designed lamps.
And we learned today about the difference between a lamp and a fixture.
Yes,
Right,
it
and we
did.
talked about bulbs. Well, that's how
Lamps.
too.
Lamps.
Lamps,
Fixtures.
bulbs.
Lamps
It do-
go into them.
Look, we have to screw in some bulbs, so we better go back to that house.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
My hair's going to be shorter when we get there.
It's a very enlightening visit.
Back at the Tudor house,
Well, we've done our lighting, we've done the recessed lighting, we've done the track lighting, and now we're doing pendant
pendant
lighting.
lighting, and we're back in the kitchen with David Bichet. Now, how did you arrive at what kind of lighting to put in here?
Well, there's a kitchen island going in here, and as a task area, the best lighting would be pendant lighting.
And what are these, some kind of stealth lamps?
These were models, mock-ups, to help the homeowner better determine and
So
visualize
they'd
the lighting.
actually be able to see.
Yes.
Well, they'd be able to see what it would look like with something hanging
Yes.
here.
So how do you determine the height? Or the height?
Task lighting over a work surface, 30 inches is
So you're going to have an island in the center here.
36 high,
plus 30.
makes 66. All right,
Beautiful.
let's get to it. East Coast, baby. Like recess lighting, the first step is to spot the holes. What's the deal, Dave?
Well, as we said at the top of the show, you'd want to do all your electrical work and considerations before the finished plaster ceiling is done.
Okay, and the template they used was?
This box here. Hey, hey, hey.
What else is on this? This is a support of
This
some
goes
sort.
into the beams, see?
Oh,
to the beams.
So if this goes up above the drywall, or in this case plaster, this is the support, and this is the box for the wire. Now, we talked about how we got the height for the pendant light. How come there's three and a certain distance
Of
apart?
course, it was in the plans.
Stop.
Well, with a 12-foot island, when you divide that island in quarters, you end up with the three lights hanging as they
There
are.
you go.
As that's something that Lee devised.
Yes.
See?
But now it's time to wire, and for that, we call for
Bill. You remember him?
Bill.
Oh, Bill.
We love him still.
Oh, Bill. Oh, Bill, calling our Bill. I didn't say to do it twice. The fixtures we're installing are low-voltage halogen pendants. They have a built-in transformer that transforms the 120-volt service in the house into low voltage. The halogen lamps burn bright, so you don't lose any light, and the shape and placement of the fixtures makes it ideal for task lighting.
Remember, all fixtures come with directions. Follow them, please. For this fixture, pull the Romex cable through the mounting plate and attach it to the ceiling with the screws provided. Snap the fixtures onto the plate and attach it with the screws provided. Now attach the wires to the terminal blocks as indicated in the directions. Where are the directions? Pendant's up and it's lit.
This is a light pendant, though. What if it had a...
Well, of course it's a light pendant.
What if it was a ceiling fan or a heavy chandelier?
Yeah.
What would you do then?
Well, then in your existing ceiling, you'd cut a 4-inch diameter hole.
Okay.
Insert the crossbar up through it.
Oh, a support bar like this.
So this goes in, and it's got these little points on it like this, so it would actually, as it telescoped, right? It telescopes, and then the friction or the pressure would grab onto the joist.
On the joist.
Lock it into the joist.
And then you'd place your box up through the hole.
Then
you get to the crossbar.
Yeah.
Wow, and how many pounds would this?
About 75 pounds.
So, oh, that's not big enough for Orson Welles, but a big chandelier.
Or Raymond Burr. Who was bigger?
We'll be right back.
Hey, we got a website.
www.furnitureguys.com.
All right, Furniture Guys, P.O. Box 53240, Philadelphia, PA 19105.
Hey guys, you can't be here. Let's go.
That is the filthiest mouthed parrot I have ever encountered in the beautiful Tudor mansion with beautiful tiger lilies, and we're cute too.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And they got a lot more work to do here at this
That's true.
wonderful mansion, but most of the lighting is done.
Yes, and we've seen a lot of it today.
We saw some pendant lighting, some recessed,
And track.
and track lighting.
Well, and we want to thank a lot of people. We want to thank Bill Mullen. He's the electrician who put
Right.
in a lot of the stuff.
Lee Waldron.
He's the lighting consultant.
And David Bichet and his entire crew.
Great people, all of them. Until next time we meet, who am I?
You're who?
I'm Ed Feldman.
You almost forgot there. I'm Joe Larario.
I knew that part.
And as we always say,
Home.
is nice. Do you want to go out this way?
Or
I don't want to go in. That bird's too noisy.
that bird, let's go over here because this is where the hot tub is with all the women.
Read.
That bird has the filthiest mouth I've ever encountered.
I think that's the owner chasing that down.
We'll start one more time. Let's put up the light.
Look, how long have we been here?
Whoa! Now all those